This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. All right, we're talking right now with Tyler Schau of agmarket.net, finishing up this Wednesday over the hump, WASD's tomorrow. What are we seeing coming out of that grain market today?
A little bit of a reversal action today in soybeans. Yesterday beans were up, wheat and corn were soft. Today we've got corn up slightly, a couple cents. We got beans weakening. Yesterday, kind of the talk was why the bean spreads were seeing some strength. Didn't really get a great answer on that. And then we got a overnight flash sale of soybeans, some to China, some to unknown, not particularly large quantities, but decent sales, and soybeans come in and sell off. So imagine that. And then the spreads are weakening again today. Don't have a real great feel for what's causing it outside of that's kind of the status quo of this market for really the last month and a half. A lot of back and forth trading. And then just soybeans in particular, if you pull up a chart and look at November beans, really struggles every time it gets near that 10-day moving average. Yesterday we went right up to it and then had a big sell off today. We've been seeing the same thing in wheat as well.
So, I mean, historically, this time of year, too, with the harvest going on, I mean, we're not really usually seeing too many volatile upswings in grains, usually, are we?
No, you would have to have some type of a major crop issue. We don't feel like that's the case. Most of the reports we're getting on soybeans, especially in the Eastern Corn Belt, have been pretty positive. Where I'm at, North Dakota, they've been very good. North Dakota's not a huge player in the game, but we're a decent sized soybean producer. The real question mark is Iowa and Minnesota, and they've been coming in, some below average, some well below average, some right at average. So it's gonna, we're gonna have to wait and see. We've been talking about this seems like for months now. I don't think we have any better answers today than we did a few weeks ago. But you're right. Typically, we would see a little bounce in October in wheat, and a lot of people have been waiting for that. I think that small grains report we got a little over a week ago have put a damper on any type of a rally in wheat in the near future, though.
Now, as we look ahead to that WASD, I mean, is this really normally an earth mover for any of those markets?
Not necessarily. There have been a few times in the past where we've seen the yield change substantially in October, but that has not been the norm. That's been a very rare occurrence. Usually, you might see, on corn, maybe we see a half a bushel move one direction or the other. On soybeans, you might see a couple tenths of a move on a bushel, but that's probably going to be the extent of it. I don't think there's been enough information for the USDA to come in and significantly slash yields, and for that matter, do much with demand. I can kind of see this as a reprint of the September WASD, with the only exception being they'll incorporate the data from the quarterly stocks and the small grains report.
So, switching over to livestock, what are we looking at with those cattle and hogs?
Cattle had a very positive day, kind of what a lot of people would say was a good trade today in feeder cattle and the fat cattle. December fats almost $2 higher. Kind of a key weekly or a key reversal too. Went down and took out lows of this week and really recent lows. You've got to go all the way back to beginning of September from where we were this low. and then we reversed and closed higher than we have really for the last 5 trading days. So a good day in the fat cattle space, pulled feeders with it. Hogs struggled though. Might have been a little bit. Haven't had any chance to take a look or dive into it, but there's been some fat cattle and hogs spreading. Quite a bit of that going on, and the last week, a lot of those were getting unwound. Guys selling fats and buying hogs. Looks like they hit the reverse button on that today.
All right. Well, if folks want to look at what market strategies they should be thinking about, especially when we talk about 2024 marketing, Tyler, what's the best way for them to get in touch with agmarket.net?
Look us up on the internet, agmarket.net. They want to call direct. The number is 701-987-6009. And since you touched on it, I do think as we move forward, if farmers are looking at making some 23 sales here on any type of rally, strongly suggest they look at some type of a hedge strategy for 24 as well.
All right. Well, Tyler, thanks so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again real soon.
You bet. Take care, Dustin.
And that again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and take a look at the closing numbers. Those come to us courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn finished up 2.5 at 488 even. March corn was up 2.5 at 503 3/4. November beans down 19 at 1252.5. January down 17 at 1272 1/4. Soy meal down 40 cents at 377.10. Soy oil down 51 cents at 52.72. Chicago wheat was down 2 3/4 at 587 1/4. Minneapolis down 5 1/4 at 718 1/4. Kansas wheat down 4 at 667 1/4. Oats down 13 cents at 415 1/2. December live cattle $1.97 higher at 186.97. Feeders for November $1.65 higher at 252. Lean hogs down $1.45 at 69.97. Pork cutouts down $1.50 at 80.30. Class 3 milk down a dime at 17.23. And that's been the Ag Market Recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from the Iowa Soybean Association. And when we come back, I talk with Republican presidential candidate Ryan Binkley. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, we know that the presidential campaign is already in full swing for next year's elections, which are more than a year away. And of course, Republicans are very numerous in the field as they try to take President Joe Biden out of the Oval Office for the next 4 years. One of those is Texas businessman Ryan Binkley. I had a chance to catch up with him back at the Iowa State Fair, and we talked about his ideas for policy and agriculture and what he thinks is important about going forward for the future of ag. Now we're with Ryan Binkley, candidate for President of the United States, Republican. Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us today.
Absolutely. So great to be here. Iowa's been wonderful to us so far, and it's been a lot of fun here this week.
So tell us a little bit about what your experience has been here at the Iowa State Fair so far.
Okay. Well, a lot of good conversations. We've been here every day so far this week. We're flying back out today, but it's been amazing. We've had some great media interviews, but more importantly, just talking to people. So we've had a team of people here. We've been talking to people about our platform, what's important to them. And Iowans are just doing a good job of being Iowans and having fun and being respectful and nice, and so it's been great.
So we obviously focus a lot on the agricultural front of it. I mean, obviously you come from Texas, that's definitely ranching territory, a lot of agriculture there as well. What kind of things are you hearing as you've made your travels about agriculture that maybe concerns you a little?
As I've talked to farmers, which we've talked to a bunch, we've been to 62 counties already, so we've met with thousands of people. Iowans are really struggling, and a lot of them are, just with the inflation they're having. Conversation last night, crop looks good, everything's fine, but fuel, everything else is up 30%, so profits are going to be down. So inflation's important. Other than that, they want to see, I think they're very practical. They want to see our country, come back together. We've talked to a lot of people that are heavily involved in civic government, and so a lot of caucus goers, and they are really engaged and they care about America. So it's been wonderful to see their concern, not just for Iowa, but for our whole country, what our party's doing, how are we connecting to people, ending the division we're in. It's been great.
So, division has been the biggest story, and it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you've been on. I mean, what kind of things can we do to unite those people again?
I am a uniter at heart, but I don't want to give away the truth, right? So what we have to do is share with what we know and what we believe in a greater way that connects to people, and also get some wisdom on how we're going to solve some of the problems we have together. So I'd be remiss if I'm saying, hey, let's unite, but don't give us anything to unite on. And so I hear the language a lot. So I'm trying to pick 4 areas that are not just Republican issues, but are American issues, important to everybody. Our budget, how are we going to handle this for the next generation? The border. This is not going to be fixed with one party. And so we have to do it together. Healthcare crisis, big things like that. Urban America, kids are struggling in education as well as poverty situations. We have to learn to bring them out. We have to work together on it.
And one thing is we talk about, making sure we're bringing everybody together. I mean, rural America also seems like a lot of times means 2% of the population feeds the country and helps feed the world. Sometimes they feel like they're underappreciated or left behind.
There's no question. That feeling is out there. As everybody that I speak with, I just want to let you know from my perspective, thank you. We need to be doing everything we can do to make sure that I think the government's out of the way for you a little bit here and just let you compete. I'd love to see, prices be a little bit more healthy so you can make a little bit more money and profit so you can invest in other things and continue doing the things that are so important. But I really appreciate Iowans.
Another thing I know farmers talk a lot about, it seems like over-regulation with agriculture and over-regulation in general. I mean, how do we address that kind of situation?
We do what we do best, which is start giving the voice of freedom. That's what I will do. I will start looking at government in every department we have. I mean, we've got 15, and it seems like their far-reaching tentacles are going out too far. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't matter what it is. We need to make sure we have regulation in the areas we need to. There's some things that are important, keep things safe. But at the end of the day, the overreach has got to stop. So there's a lot of cleaning house we need to do. I would say this, every department needs to be trimmed, needs to be effective, but we have to look at every single rule and make sure we're justifying it one more time.
All right, so any last messages you have for our Iowa viewers here?
I am for farming, and I'm for the farming community. I'm for everybody here in Iowa. I'm hearing a lot of things about the carbon pipeline. I just want to let you know, I'm standing with farmers on this so far. I've really heard both sides of the issues, and I really see, I've met with hundreds of people, maybe one or two that's in favor of this pipeline. So I'm really thinking about how can Iowans today in the farming community that are in disagreement, how can you make sure you get your voice out there? I'm just encouraging everybody, get your voice out there. Let them know what you think. Make sure that you're standing firm in what you believe, and I'm standing with you.
And that again was Ryan Binkley, Republican presidential candidate. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ag weather outlook. Well, mostly overcast, but we got a few peaks of sun. Saw quite a bit of lightning streaking across the sky this morning as I made my way to the studios. Rain looking to be widespread across much of the state. Could see multiple inches over several days, which we know does slow down harvest progress, and that can be kind of an irritant once in a while, but we also know that ground needs to recharge its moisture, and we'll take that whenever we can get it as well. So what does it look like for the next 24 hours? Let's see what the National Weather Service has to say. Well, it looks like a soggy forecast for the next couple of days as we look ahead. Widespread chances of showers and storms today. Already saw the lightning striking, as I said earlier, in Des Moines coming into work. And highs today, low 60s to the upper 70s. We're going to see a lot of that high variability in temperatures north to south here as the days go on. Showers and storms likely tonight. We're going to see lows anywhere from the upper 40s to around 60. And then tomorrow, breezy with showers and thunderstorms likely across the state. Highs will be in the mid-50s to the mid-60s. Taking a look at the affiliate weather map for you. Tomorrow in Cherokee, look for showers in 56. Shenandoah, chance of storms in 76. Des Moines, showers and storms possible, 68. Waterloo, showers in 57. 74 and storms in Albia tomorrow, and Clinton will be coming in with some showers and thunderstorms and 62 degrees. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been the Ag Weather Outlook. And with that, we're at the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and on our YouTube channel. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you're notified every time we put out a new video project. You can also check out our free market podcasts on Amazon, Apple, Google, Spotify, and Podbean and get that analysis sent right to your mobile device. Also, don't forget about our Weekend Ag Matters program and Iowa Ag Matters programs, as you can find them as well and find out daily what we're going on in the world of Iowa's agriculture. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson, Riley Smith, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for joining us. This has been Ag Matters PM.